Wow. Okay. Hi everyone. This is James Jackson. Um, for those of you that don't know me, I am a cinematographer, a videographer, and a video editor. Um, I decided to. I was just going about my normal day. Then I read out of nowhere that Blackmagic was going to be announcing some new products that they're going to be releasing, and they had a press conference. And I just got done watching it, and holy crap. So let's just get the more normal broadcasting stuff out of the way before we get to the big Kahuna one. So the first thing that they announced was a new DaVinci Resolve micro panel for color grading. For those who don't really know too much about color grading, for those, it's when you're shooting cameras, it's basically to make your image all pretty and done. If you can learn how to color grade, you can make some great cinematic looks, even on the something like the Rebel T3i. It's all about lighting. What this control panel essentially does is it allows you to sort of make it easier for those who are experienced or enjoy color grading. It allows their workflow to go better. So that's always a good thing. It's a lot smaller from basically what it looks like. It looks like about the size of maybe like a data video switcher. So not easy to carry. They say it's made of metal. So that's the first one. And then they announced I guess the bigger brother to that, which is, I just dropped my pen. But anyways, they I dropped. They announced the new DaVinci Resolve Mini panel, which I don't know why Blackmagic, you need to work on your names. Seriously. You got the micro panel, the mini panel. They're not small. It's not like they're like this little teeny thing that you can put in your pocket and work like this. This ain't the Jetsons. When we get to the Jetsons and where you can just hit a button, or you're like Capsule Corp from Dragon Ball Z, where we can hit a button and it blows up into. Don't stop calling your products micro or mini, because they're really not that big. I mean, small. They're really not. They're really not that small. And essentially, it's more to be able to transition the workflow between editing and color grading, so you can easily do your editing and then go through your color grading. And both of these are relatively quote unquote affordable. The micro one is $9.95, and then the mini one, again mini air quotes, is $29.95. And when I mean $29.95, I mean $2,995. But you gotta understand, for panels like that usually you're spending anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 for like high-end professional grade studio. And DaVinci Resolve without question, it is arguably the best color grading system that you can get. And by the way, majority of the Resolve system is free. So if you want to try out color grading, these are great things to take a look at them. Or if you just want to try out DaVinci Resolve and get your color grading on, download it and take a look at it. I use DaVinci Resolve to color grade my stuff all the time. Just the amount of features that it has, that's a whole different other video. So that's not what this is about. Let's get to the big cojones. Let's get to what we really are here to talk about, which is the brand new camera that Blackmagic has announced, which is the Ursa Mini Pro, which essentially is the Ursa Mini, the original Ursa Mini, but with significant ergonomic features, improvements, if you will. What's the similarities? Pretty much almost 90% everything else is similar. It has the same sensor as the original Ursa Mini, so 4.6K. So it is 4.6K resolution, 15 stops of dynamic range. You can record RAW, compressed or uncompressed. You can record ProRes in all formats of flavor: 444, 422, HQ, LT, proxy. So you still can record 4.6K at 60 frames per second and 120 frames per second in 1080. So what's different about this camera? Basically this. We'll get to the big thing, but first, the first major thing is that ergonomically it's way better. You got so many different features that you can have, more buttons to just sort of custom and set to how you want. And there's also buttons that can be used for other buttons that are redundant. Redundancy is what they made a big thing about. It's basically if something was to go wrong with one button, you have another button that's a backup, which I think is a really great idea, because now it's like if this button snaps or breaks for some reason because we beat them out, because we as filmmakers we put our loves through so much abuse to get the art that we need. I can't believe I did that, but oh well. So not only can you now record CFast 2.0 cards, you can now record to SD cards. So now you can record UHD resolution. So UHD, which is 4K by technicality, it's 4K to SD cards. You can even record raw UHD to SD cards. So first of all, why is that such a big deal compared to CFast 2.0 cards? Well, if any of you guys ever decide to take a look to see how much a CFast 2.0 card is purchased, well, you'll notice it's a lot. I mean, a lot. With now the option of doing CFast 2.0 cards and SD cards, you can now, it's a lot more affordable. It brings the weight of the cost down. The second major, that was my phone going off. This is why you're supposed to silence it. Let me go ahead and do that. So, silenced. Okay. So the second major thing is it has interchangeable mounts. So now you can start off with an EF mount, but now you can also now put in a PL mount. They're introducing a Nikon mount and now a B4 mount. So EF mount, that's your Canon, that's your standard typical Canon mount. The PL mount is pretty much all like the major high-end cinema prime lenses, or the major cinema cameras. They use PL mounts, and then the Nikon mounts, obviously Nikon. If you have a Nikon camera, it uses Nikon mounts. And then B4, which is basically the ENG style cameras you're used to seeing by like broadcasters and things like that. So now you can swap them out, and the mounts themselves are rather affordable. So now, and you could just swap it to whatever you want now, instead of having to go buy a whole new different camera. So now you can go out and shoot for your music videos using your Canon glasses, and then all of a sudden you may get a call to do like a big cinema project, and now you can just get a PL mount and just switch it out. Why does every camera not do this? Seriously, every camera should now be doing this. No camera that is trying to be a cinema camera or a high grade quality camera should allow interchangeable mounts. But that's not the big difference for this camera. The big difference with this camera from the other cameras: built-in ND filters. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, ND stands for neutral density. Essentially, in layman's terms, it is sunglasses for your camera. It makes, when it's taking a lot of light, especially during the day, it allows you to basically put down a certain stops of light to basically to bring down the amount of light that is hitting the sensor, and it gives you a much cleaner image. None of the Blackmagic cameras before this camera had ND filters. And the fact that this camera now has ND filters, just put it this way of why I'm so big on ND filters. The camera I'm shooting on right now is the Canon EOS C100. I could have gotten a GH4, a Sony A7S, a Sony A6300, but I chose this camera. The main thing in particular is because I worked with this camera quite a few years back, but then I got a chance to use it again on a project back in October. And I realized how much I missed NDs. Just having that extra flexibility to get the shot that I need and removing that extra bit of light. I cannot stress to you how enough. Now you got an ND, built-in ND with 15 stops of dynamic range. So you got built-in NDs, interchangeable mounts, and now the option of both CFast and SD cards, all for the price of, wait for it, $6,000. Now, some of y'all looking like, that's fucking expensive. And yes, it's fucking expensive. But when you compare it to other cameras that have these sort of features, and also compare it to other high-end cameras that it competes with, primarily the one I'm thinking about is the Red Raven. The Red Raven is an EF-only mount camera, has no ND filters, has about the same resolution, a little bit higher dynamic range. Now granted, the frame rates on it are significantly better than the Ursa Mini Pro. But to me, those ergonomic features that this camera is providing, which by the way is having more customizable buttons, and it still has the great touchscreen and the user interface, the 4.0 user interface, which I till this day say is the best user interface that I have ever seen. For $6,000, which by the way, this is only $1,000 more than the actual original Ursa Mini. Now, you're thinking $1,000, what are you getting with that $1,000? Like I said, you're getting a built-in ND, so no longer you need an ND plate or need to put on screw-on variable ND filters, which are horrible by the way, which also means you need a matte box, so that's $1,000. That would be $1,000 right there just for that. And you're removing the CFast cards, which by the way, a 248 gigabyte card will run you anywhere between $400 and $700, depending on where you get it. So that cost of the CFast cards, you're removing that, especially if it's somebody like, if you're not using the full RAW. Like, I can see why you can use the full for the full RAW. That would be probably better. But even then, they're now adding an option for you to allow to run SSDs, which stores significantly more data than any of the CFast cards. They're significantly cheaper than CFast 2.0 cards, and they actually write faster than CFast 2.0 cards because they're pretty much computers. SSDs are computers, processors. So all these costs that you're removing, now all of a sudden the amount that you would spend for the Ursa Mini, the original Ursa Mini, and this camera is actually about the same or even less for the Ursa Mini Pro. And you're getting these features built into the camera. To me, this, all I gotta say today, after this, I gotta say RIP to the OG Ursa Mini, because there is no reason to get the Ursa Mini, the original one. There's no reason to get the 4.6 anymore. To me, this completely wipes away that original camera. Even though Blackmagic is still going to sell it, to me, with the features they announced with this camera, I don't see a reason to go with the 4.6. Just, save up that extra grand and just buy the Ursa Mini Pro. Because you're still getting all those great features you're getting from the original Ursa, but now you're getting the ergonomic benefits of what most of the higher-end NG cameras like the C100, the C300, the FS7, you're getting all of those wrapped into one, and raw. To me, Panasonic and Blackmagic, they put their chips in the middle of the pot, and now Canon and Sony, they're all like, your move. What you gonna do? And really, I don't know. The only thing to me that's still a downside is because it's the same sensor as the 4.6K, the original one. Let's just be honest. Low light is still going to be horrible. This is not going to be a low light camera, so you shouldn't use it for low light. But yeah, the low light, it's still going to be limited to 1600 ISO, and the that is already has horizontal noise when you underexpose it too badly, so I wouldn't even bother using 1600, just sticking to 800 and under. Not anything higher than 120 frames per second, but let's be honest, unless you're doing some you're either in like some extreme sports or some sporting, if your career is involving some sporting activities like extreme sporting, like the X Games or something like that, or you're doing some serious high-end corporate commercial videography, you really don't need anything higher than 120 frames per second. And by the way, the 120 frames, even in the window mode, it's really good. As someone who's actually used the Ursa Mini, I can tell you, it is really, really good. So I already know, I was already going to get the Ursa Mini 4.6. If it was like I was debating between the Ursa Mini 4.6 and the Red Raven. Now it's not even a debate. I'm getting the Ursa Mini Pro. And by the way, it's funny. Blackmagic seems to be listening, but they also listen to the people that, you know, joke about them. Because everybody was sort of like thinking, yeah, you know what? Oh yeah, it'll be nice. I'll wait till maybe the end of the year or next year when it's, you know, when they finally release it. The camera is available to ship now. You can order the camera now. The camera is available to purchase now. At that point, I was like, what? Why you do this to me, Blackmagic? I was like sitting, I'm committed, I'm just building up. I'm still going to continue to build my studio and get all the more professional features before I upgrade to a new camera. But why, Blackmagic? Because let's be clear, the GH5 still is an interesting camera. I still am not convinced that the GH5 should be seen as a professional video camera. I'll get to that in another video. But, damn, Blackmagic. See, that's the thing. The GH5 to me would have been a complete seal if it had put NDs in the camera. And that one bit changes everything. To me, the ND filters is a complete game changer for Blackmagic. If everything works, but we all know Blackmagic has its faulty things when they first release. So let's keep an eye out and see what is going to happen. But I am very excited. But the one thing I always say is, eventually Blackmagic fixes everything they need to fix, and you have an amazing camera. So we'll see. We'll see. We don't have to wait long. Hopefully we don't have to wait long to hear from other people. All I know is I am going to be looking, any rental houses that are looking for people to try out the camera, just hit me up. I'll be more than happy to be the test subject, your beta tester for the Ursa Mini Pro. So anyways, that's it for this announcement for the Blackmagic. Let me know what you think. What do you think about the new Ursa Mini Pro, or even the other two products, the Resolve micro panel or the Resolve mini panel? Let me know what you think. Do you think Blackmagic is now the front runner, or do you still think for camera of the year, or is it still the GH5? Hopefully you enjoy this videos. I'm trying to do more videos, vlogs like this, but also want to just get you in mind, I am rocking my K2 TV shirt. Just want to let you know, K2 TV is putting on 2 shows in April, back to back. Okay, going back to back. I don't know why we did that. Oh well. Yeah, so K2 TV is putting on our very first live event. It is with performances by False the Bad Guy. So please, you can get your tickets now on Eventbrite. I'll put a description somewhere in this video. I don't know where. It will be in the description box below. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I can do more of this stuff. I just bought some new lights by Yongnu. I love these lights, but I'll see how they look. But anyways, I'll probably talk more about them later, and I'm rambling right now, so go ahead. So thank you guys for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.